This is to show you how to create a general ledger account, also called a category in QuickBooks. There are several ways to get there. As always, you can get to it from up here. I'm going through accounting, chart of accounts, new, and of course you can edit here as well. You can see you have several account types. This designated a couple of things. First of all, the functionality of the account. A bank account, Wells Fargo, would be considerably different than the account we use to collect our accounts receivable from each of our customers or donors, for example. And they'll show up in a different spot on either the profit and loss statement or the balance sheet, depending upon what type of account it is. Detail type, you can see that there are several: checking, cash on hand. That's because that's being driven by the fact that it's a bank account. If I change the account type, the detail type changes as well. This also drives some of the positioning on the financial statements. Cash on hand, this is just a default that is being given. You simply change that to whatever you wish to have. I highly recommend that you make sure that your descriptions mean something to people other than yourself. There's nothing worse than to have 5 accounts that say other or miscellaneous, for example. Description, if at all possible, please include the description, because this again gives the people who are going to be doing posting an idea of what you had in mind when you created this general ledger account or category. There is a description over here that comes by default, depending upon what type of income, what type of account you are posting to it. The detail types to be specific. Is a sub-account. This means that you can indent one of these. So you could make this sub-account a sub-account to, well, any of these actually. And then you will find that they indent on the financial statements. They also, quote, roll up, which means that anything that is a sub-account to, for example, design income, it could have 3 or 4 design income sub-accounts. You might use this for, on an income account, donations. So donations might have 3 different sub-accounts of donations. Donations from individuals, donations from groups, donations from corporations, and perhaps even in-kind donations, for example. And then those would all roll up to one total on the income statement that says total donations. Simply save and close, or save and new if you're putting in a bunch of them. I do not have general ledger accounts turned on for this. I do that on purpose because of QuickBooks' ability to use these fields to position and arrange your general ledger accounts or categories. You do not need numbers. Numbers become a real problem because you have to keep them in sequence and so forth. In QuickBooks Online, they are no longer necessary, so they are simply a holdover from old accounting systems. I highly recommend you not use them. If you do use them, please use the unified chart of accounts as an example for how your account numbers should be set up. You can Google that, unified chart of accounts for nonprofits. One of the things that you can do here when you have an account, and you can see that you can view a register, which means that you can drop down to any particular account and see what the activity is. I do want to point out that here we have a situation of sub-accounts. I have a truck, which is fixed assets. I have depreciation and original cost underneath those fixed assets. You'll notice they're listed in alphabetical order. What this does then is it gives you a total for truck, the current value for truck, because the original cost less the depreciation would show up as a total line here. What I wanted to show you over here is that you can say either edit, for instance, if you need to make a change to an account for any reason, or make inactive. Make inactive is nice because it turns off the account. It doesn't get rid of it. If you have activity in that account, it will continue to post on your financial statements. However, you will not ever be able, you'll not be able to post to it again until you make it active again. And should you have to make it active again, you go up here to your settings and click on Include Inactive. At that point, you'll be able to see both active and inactive, and then you can turn the account back on should you need to. So turning off an account because you no longer need it or don't use it very often is perfectly acceptable, and then you can turn it back on should you discover that you made a mistake. Thank you.